Ladies, gentlemen and all variations thereupon, are you tired of having your beer bottles not maintain that crisp frostiness like they do in the commercials? Well, today I'm going to show you exactly how they achieve that. But before we can start, I need an empty bottle. This Coke's gone bad. Now, I may not actually drink myself, but I know that you're not supposed to have a frosted whiskey glass. Now, what this build is actually for is for a display on a bar. So I'm not too worried about the up close view of the bottle because it's going to sit on a shelf and people aren't going to be able to get up too close to it most of the time anyway. But if you're going to use this for a photography shoot or something, then there's a few things you're going to have to take into consideration which I won't have to. Firstly, you need to consider where the seam is on the bottle. On here it's fairly close to the front but slightly off to the side. Now if you're using this as part of a photo shoot, what you want is that seam to be hidden around the back somewhere so that when you're taking the photo you don't see the seam. The other thing that you have to consider is the liquid inside. If you're using it for a photo shoot, do you want to see bubbles within it? If that's the case, then you're going to want a full bottle of beer or to put Coke or something inside so that you have the bubbles going up. I'm just going to put water in again because we're looking at a distance, and if you're having the bubbles show through, then you're going to want to be able to see through both sides. So either like this, make sure there's no label on the back, or if you've got one with a label on the back, make sure you've removed the label and any of the stickiness, so when you shine the light on it passes all the way through and you can see the bubbles clearly. I don't have to worry about any of that because I'm doing something very simple in just making it look frosty. And the first step making this look frosty is going to be to use a little bit of wax on it, and all you're going to do is rub onto the surface to get a line of wax down the side of it. Now you want to have this cover the entire glass mostly, but you want some areas that are a lot denser in wax than others because that kind of variation is going to create the interest in the water droplets that are going to stick to it later on. And this we're going to rub in, going to place our thumb on it and push out from the centre of wherever the wax is. And the idea is we want to get these to start looking mostly clear, but because we've started with a denser area here, this will be the most dense part for the wax. Now I've gotten rid of most of the wax on there so it's mostly transparent, but you can see it's still slightly cloudy on the surface, which will add to the frosted effect. What I have here is a not vanilla body spray as the label says, but a mix of a vegetable oil, a glycerol, and water. It's about a 50-50 mix. You want something water-like that's going to sit on the surface, so you don't want something completely oily, but if you just put water on the surface, water's just going to run off. Now also, the oil doesn't evaporate, so when you just spray this on, this will last for a very, very long time. As you can see, now that I've sprayed that on, we've got a permanently wet frosted effect on the surface of it, so it looks like a cool beer that you can drink right away. But we're not just going to stop there. Next step is to create something that looks like ice crystals on the front, because nothing says cold like ice, but ice is going to melt. There are several ways of making ice crystals that stick to the surface of your bottle. The most common way used in commercials and things is to use pieces of plastic. Get a clear plastic or resin or something like that broken up into little shards and stick them on the surface, and you can put them then on the table and things and make a display. But I try not to use plastic in my builds, so what I'm going to put on is ordinary table salt. Now this table salt does come in large crystal form, so what I'm going to do is take a few of the chunks of salt crystal and sprinkle them onto the bottle. Some of them will stick, a lot of them won't. If you're having trouble getting your crystals, whether they're salt or not, to stick, then you might want to try smaller chunks. And just want them to stick in a random pattern. And as you can see, most of them actually stick on. Knock off some of the loose ones. And then we have it, a frosted beer bottle, and that should last in a frosted state for quite some time. I'm going to leave this a few days before I do the hero shots, so the shots that you'll see at the end are what it looks like several days later, so you'll see exactly how long this can stay looking like a frosted bottle. All that's left for me to do now is to put a funnel in the top and pour the water in up to the level that I want. So if you want to see more builds like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and I shall see you in the next video.